Timing and targets. The conspirators' selection of both the date and the targets for the attacks provides another opportunity to examine the plot from within. Although Atta enjoyed wide discretion as tactical commander, bin Laden had strong opinions regarding both issues. The date of the attacks apparently was not chosen much more than 3 weeks before September 11th. According to Binalshibh, when he met with Atta in Spain in mid-July, Atta could do no more than estimate that he would still need 5 to 6 weeks before he could pick a date. Then, in a mid-August phone call to Binalshibh, Atta conveyed the date for the attacks, which Binalshibh dutifully passed up his chain of command in a message personally delivered to Afghanistan by Hamburg associate Zakariya Essabar in late August. Bin Laden had been pressuring KSM for months to advance the attack date. According to KSM, bin Laden had even asked that the attacks occur as early as mid-2000, after Israeli opposition party leader Ariel Sharon caused an outcry in the Middle East by visiting a sensitive and contested holy site in Jerusalem, sacred to both Muslims and Jews. Although bin Laden recognized that Atta and the other pilots had only just arrived in the United States to begin their flight training, the al-Qaeda leader wanted to punish the United States for supporting Israel. He allegedly told KSM it would be sufficient simply to down the planes and not hit specific targets. KSM withstood this pressure, arguing that the operation would not be successful unless the pilots were fully trained and the hijacking teams were larger. In 2001, bin Laden apparently pressured KSM twice more for an earlier date. According to KSM, bin Laden first requested a date of May 12, 2001, the 7-month anniversary of the Cole bombing. Then, when bin Laden learned from the media that Sharon would be visiting the White House in June or July 2001, he attempted once more to accelerate the operation. In both instances, KSM insisted that the hijacker teams were not yet ready. Other al-Qaeda detainees also confirmed that the 9/11 attacks were delayed during the summer of 2001, despite bin Laden's wishes. According to one operative, Khalid al-Midar disclosed that attacks had been delayed from May until July, and later from July until September. According to another al-Qaeda member in Kandahar that summer, a general warning, much like the alert issued in the camps 2 weeks before the Cole bombing and 10 days before the eventual 9/11 attacks, was issued in July or early August of 2001. As a result of this warning, many al-Qaeda members dispersed with their families, internal security was increased, and bin Laden dropped out of sight for about 30 days, until the alert was canceled. KSM claims he did not inform Atta or the other conspirators that bin Laden wanted to advance the date, because he knew they would move forward when they were ready. Atta was very busy organizing the late arriving operatives, coordinating the flight teams, and finalizing the targets. In fact, target selection appears to have influenced the timing of the attacks. As revealed by an Atta Binalshibh communication at this time, recovered later from a computer captured with KSM, Atta selected a date after the first week of September so that the United States Congress would be in session. According to KSM, the U.S. Capitol was indeed on the preliminary target list he had initially developed with bin Laden and Atef in the spring of 1999. That preliminary list also included the White House, the Pentagon, and the World Trade Center. KSM claimed that while everyone agreed on the Capitol, he wanted to hit the World Trade Center, whereas bin Laden favored the Pentagon and the White House. Binalshibh confirms that bin Laden preferred the White House over the Capitol, a preference he made sure to convey to Atta when they met in Spain in the summer of 2001. Atta responded that he believed the White House posed too difficult a target, but that he was waiting for Hani Hanjour and Nawaf al-Hazmi to assess its feasibility. On July 20th, Hanjour, likely accompanied by Hazmi, rented a plane and took a practice flight from Fairfield, New Jersey to Gaithersburg, Maryland, a route that would have allowed them to fly near Washington, D.C. When Binalshibh pressed Atta to retain the White House as a target during one of their communications in early August, Atta agreed, but said he would hold the Capitol in reserve as an alternate target in case the White House proved impossible. Based on another exchange between Atta and Binalshibh, as late as September 9th, 2 days before the attacks, the conspirators may still have been uncertain about which Washington target they would strike. Dissent among al-Qaeda leaders. The attitude of the al-Qaeda leadership toward the 9/11 plot represents one last area for insight. As Atta made his final preparations during the summer of 2001, dissent emerged among al-Qaeda leaders in Afghanistan over whether to proceed with the attack. Although access to details of the plot was carefully guarded, word started to spread during the summer of 2001 that an attack against the United States was imminent. According to KSM, he was widely known within al-Qaeda to be planning some kind of operation against the United States. Many were even aware that he had been preparing operatives to go to the United States, as reported by a CIA source in June 2001. Moreover, that summer, bin Laden made several remarks hinting at an upcoming attack, which spawned rumors throughout the jihadist community worldwide. For instance, KSM claims that, in a speech at the al-Farouk training camp in Afghanistan, bin Laden specifically urged trainees to pray for the success of an upcoming attack involving 20 martyrs. With news of an impending attack against the United States gaining wider circulation, a rift developed within al-Qaeda's leadership. Although bin Laden wanted the operation to proceed as soon as possible, several senior al-Qaeda figures thought they should follow the position taken by their Afghan host, Taliban leader Mullah Omar, who opposed attacking the United States. According to one al-Qaeda member, when bin Laden returned after the general alert in late July, he spoke to his confidants about problems he was having with Omar's unwillingness to allow any further attacks against the United States from Afghanistan. KSM claims that Omar opposed attacking the United States for ideological reasons, but permitted attacks against Jewish targets. KSM denies that Omar's opposition reflected concern about U.S. retaliation, but notes that the Taliban leader was under pressure from the Pakistani government to keep al-Qaeda from engaging in operations outside Afghanistan. While some senior al-Qaeda officials opposed the 9/11 operation out of deference to Omar, others reportedly expressed concern that the U.S. would respond militarily. Bin Laden, on the other hand, reportedly argued that attacks against the United States needed to be carried out immediately to support the insurgency in the Israeli-occupied territories and to protest the presence of U.S. military forces in Saudi Arabia. Bin Laden also thought that an attack against the United States would reap al-Qaeda a recruiting and fundraising bonanza. In his thinking, the more al-Qaeda did, the more support it would gain. Although he faced opposition from many of his senior advisors, including Shura Council members Sheikh Saeed, Saif al-Adil, and Abu Hafs the Mauritanian, bin Laden effectively overruled their objections, and the attacks went forward.
Although this testimony was heard in the 9/11 hearings, when it came time for the commissioners to fulfill their mandate, they intentionally rejected doing so because several references to Israel were omitted from the final 9/11 report. Incredibly, the two top 9/11 commissioners, Thomas Keane and Lee Hamilton, admit commissioners' concerns over whether the policy of supporting Israel would be reassessed by the American people influenced what they put in the 9/11 report and what they kept out. The 9/11 Commission betrayed the interests of the American people when they put the final 9/11 report together because they downplayed the main motive, anger at U.S. support of Israel's crimes, and omitted several references to the key testimony mentioning Israel. Click here to see James Morris confronting a panel of weasels who are suppressing why we were attacked. And also, don't forget to subscribe to both channels and join the Facebook, Twitter. Please share this channel with as many people as you can, because once again, there's a situation of suppression, and I'll talk about that situation of suppression in my next video.